Exciting. Exciting. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. My name is Tamara Lawson. I'm the Tony Rimby Dean of your law school, and I'm excited to welcome you and open the commencement exercises for this class. I begin this ceremony with the land acknowledgement. The University of Washington acknowledges the Coast Salish peoples of this land and the land which touches the shared waters of all tribes and bands within the Suquamish, Tulalip, and Muckleshoot nations. I am honored to be here with you and this moment of your commencement to celebrate your many accomplishments. This year, we are recognizing 282 graduates from more than 30 countries. This class, the 2023 class, will always be special to me. Many of you began your law school career during the pandemic. You lived with that stress alongside your academic requirements and many balancing family obligations as well, all while still achieving your professional goals. Your journey has not been easy, but I have to add, nothing worth it is ever easy. And this is your time. Look at each other. Take a moment and pause and look at each other. This is your time. You are graduating today, and you are graduating with the brightest legal minds in the world. This is your time, and this is just the beginning of your journey. Because of your hard work and dedication and commitment, your options are boundless. Not just for jobs, but your future is boundless because of the path of your career will take. Our world is facing lots of challenges, but what that truly means for each one of you is that you have an opportunity. You have an opportunity to engage in deeply meaningful work wherever your legal career takes you. You are now equipped. You're equipped with the tools to tackle injustice wherever it lies with an inclusive lens. This class, ladies and gentlemen, has already begun to impact the legal field by bringing a keen eye and fresh perspectives to policy and practices in so many important areas of the law. I'll just name a few, such as tech policy, global business, health law, Asian law, and Native American law. That's just a sampling of where you've already begun to make your mark. There are so many ways you can and will make an impact. At times, you will have the opportunity to choose, right? And you will choose wisely because the arc of your career is long. But at other times, opportunities will choose you. And I encourage you to be open and take a risk and do not be afraid. Lean in. Make it your own. It might just be the beginning of something incredible. I want to highlight the advice that Dr. Martin Luther King gave to a group of young people in a speech in 1967, a speech he gave in Philadelphia entitled, "What is your life's blueprint?" Dr. King articulated the key ingredients of planning one's future In that speech, he compared planning your life and planning your goals to the work of an architect, that it's essential to have a solid blueprint. And he shared with us the 3 key ingredients for a solid blueprint. Dignity. The first thing the blueprint must contain is dignity, a deep belief in your own dignity and worth. I would amplify Dr. King's point by adding that a deep belief in your own dignity actually empowers you to believe deeply in the dignity and worth of others, which is the key ingredient toward impacting justice. Always feel that you count and you have worth because your voice matters. The second key ingredient is excellence. The determination to achieve excellence in all of your endeavors. Whatever your assignment, do it so well that no other person can do it better. Dr. King was known for elaborating with this example. If you're a street sweeper, sweep that street better than anyone else can. Sweep the street as if Michelangelo was painting the Sistine Chapel. And I share with you to take that standard with you in your work as a lawyer. Always give it your best. And the final key to your blueprint, it must contain beauty, love, and justice. You have a responsibility to make your nation and the world a better place for everyone. So as you activate your individual blueprints, know that you are not alone. We are interconnected. We are a community here at UW Law, and we are always here. We are supporting you in this launch, your launch into the legal profession. Well, you will do so many amazing things. We will continually be in conversation with you. You with your faculty, your peers, your administrators at the law school, and across the whole university. We remain connected to you and continue to support you through so many future successes. Commencement is not an end point, but rather a new beginning of the transformative impact of this class, the class of 2023, that you will have on the world. Graduates, this is your time. Because of all your hard work and preparation, which includes the support of so many people along the way, your friends and family. I want to honor the friends and family that are here with us today. Let's give a hand clap for the friends and family of these graduates. Thank you for being here, but also thank you for your role in this journey. These graduates would not be here without you. You have created the environment for them to blossom and thrive and have brought them to this moment. Graduates, we celebrate you today. We are excited to share many messages of support marking this milestone, and I want to acknowledge our regents who are here with us today. We have 3 Board of Regents, Dr. Constance Rice, Regent Blaine Tamaki, and also Regent Fuller, who will address you later in the program as our alumni speaker. Now it is my great privilege to recognize the Dean's Medal recipients. Let's see. Okay, where do we go here? These awards are presented as special recognition to students embodying a combination of academic excellence and overall contributions to student life. The awards this year go to Donald Peters and Hannah Garland. I know the graduates know Donald and Hannah well, but I just want to share some of their accomplishments for the audience. Donald Peters spent a decade as a classroom teacher before beginning his legal journey. Yes, as a teacher. He wanted to change the system to promote equality, and after studying in the Race and Justice Clinic, he is well on his way. At UW Law, Donald served as the president of our Student Bar Association and the co-administrative chair for the Public Interest Law Association. He acted as the Washington State Minority and Justice Commission student liaison and was the extern at the Washington Supreme Court with Chief Justice Stephen Gonzalez. Thank you for your service. Hannah Garland has spent her time at UW Law advocating for those at the intersection of crisis and mental health. Graduating with both a JD and an LLM in Sustainable International Development, Hannah served as the Washington Law Review Editor-in-Chief. She was also Justice Stevens Fellow on the death penalty team and an intern at the Disability Rights Clinic in Washington. She also was nominated as a Husky 100. Donald and Hannah are just two of our outstanding JD graduates. In the back of the commencement program are names of graduating students recognized for their academic and leadership achievements, including the editorial boards of 4 of our law journals, Moot Court and Clinical Advocates, pro bono honorees, graduate program honorees, and students with extraordinary records in service and scholarship in all of our programs. It's a big congratulations that we give now to all of our graduates for their outstanding achievements. And without further ado, I give you your graduation faculty speaker, Professor Anita Ramasthasri.
Good morning, everyone, and congratulations. Before I launch into my remarks, and I have to just tell the students, you might think, oh yeah, she walks into class and just teaches, right? I still get nervous when I stand up every time. So today's no exception. We thanked the family and friends that were here. I want us to do that one more time, and I want us to thank the family and friends who are not here, who are watching us online, who are in countries and time zones far away, because they love and care for you as well. So let's thank those and wave to them. And I'm going to subject the graduates to one more thanks, which is that there's a whole group of people who every day got up and really thought about you and making sure that your life was happy and successful at Gates Hall, and that is our faculty, staff, and wonderful librarians. So let's thank them all. Thank us, even though you didn't always like us, right? So anyway, Dean Lawson, Regents Fuller, Tamaki, and Rice, graduates and friends and family of the graduating class, and my dear colleagues. Now, I won't begin my remarks by hearkening back to my own time in law school, which now is becoming kind of the Stone Age. In my law school, I really can't compare my law school experience to yours. We didn't have laptops. We used quill pens. But seriously, we didn't have laptops. We didn't have a global pandemic. So can you even imagine? Just not comparable. So I want to ask you as recent graduates today to reflect on your own stories. I'm going to take you down your own personal guided meditation, right? So I want to think of your law school story as your own novel, play, or television series, whatever media that you like, that you have time for. You might have your own favorite TV show. It might be Succession, Ted Lasso, Squid Game, a telenovela, or anime series. But your own stories are far more interesting and unique. And life as we know it now is often stranger than fiction. Think for the moment about the world today, from a global pandemic to rising inequality, to climate change, to war, to artificial intelligence, to ChatGPT. I mean, that one really floored me. Each day I read the newspaper and I keep thinking, who is writing the script? I mean, could you write a script like that? I couldn't, right? Is it Stephen King, who gave us any number of scary stories? Or is it Jordan Peele, who gave us films like Nope and Get Out? Or is it Bong Joon-ho, who directed Parasite, right? I mean, they have wonderful imaginations, right? But even they couldn't write the script. So let's focus on your story, because you wrote your script. Now imagine back, it's hard, right? But imagine the prologue to your arrival at UW Law, and remembering there'll be moving music playing in the background as you relive those days gone by, and the moment you decided to come study here. And the main thing I ask you to reflect upon beyond your adventure to get to UW Law, and maybe there were family members saying, like, start school during a pandemic? Isn't that silly? Like, really? Really? But you did. So don't worry, you got here, is to really just think about the friends and family who have supported you, and really thank them for their sacrifices, their love, and faith in you, whether they're here or afar today. So let's get into your story. So Act 1 for many of you was the pandemic years. And I refer to Act 1 as your first year of UW Law School. Now for JD students, it was not coming into the classroom and meeting your classmates, right? There was no look to your left and right. In fact, we told you, you cannot come into the building. Don't come, stay home, right? We told you that. But we asked you to log on to Zoom from your bedrooms and kitchens. And my former contract students, I remember your little boxes on my screen, and I scrolled through them. And I remember your pets, your virtual backdrops, and most importantly, really most importantly, your goodwill and your kindness as we learned about the dreaded Battle of the Forums and played virtual trivia. Remember those days, Sleepless in Seattle? And then for my graduate students, remember entering a world with new jargon and with strange UW Law customs, right, that you didn't know. And for many of you, darkness and rain, unfortunately. But now with the great weather, you'll forget it. Seattle amnesia, we call it. So you will all remember the goofy things, like having a husky as your mascot and learning to spell dog, D-A-W-G. Like, you wouldn't win a spelling bee with that. So just, right? But please remember not only what you lost during the pandemic years, but what you gained. Resilience, fortitude, adaptability, and an understanding of how connected we all are to something much bigger than ourselves. You learned that even when challenges seemed insurmountable, communities that actively problem solve and come together come back stronger. Now we see how those lawyers and legally trained advocates are critical now to bettering the lives of those who are vulnerable and who suffer due to inequality and injustice. And we've also learned that lawyers and advocates can adapt. Some of you will remember the lawyer who appeared in court as a cat. Do you remember that? The cat lawyer? And, that was funny, but now courts operate virtually, right? The profession can and must pivot. But we also think of those massive court backlogs in the system from the pandemic, and justice delayed and denied for thousands in King County alone. So how do we move forward when we have so much to repair to do from the pandemic, and from the injustices of decades past? And you need to both move forward into your next act, but without forgetting the past. Which brings me to Act 2. So Act 1 was those pandemic years. Act 2 is commencement. And today, while some of you may think that this is the final chapter, right? I'm done with law school. It's only Act 2 in your law school story. You made it to graduation. What I ask you to remember is what are the values and tools that you're going to carry with you as you begin that next stage of your professional lives. What it means to be a UW Law graduate is not your diploma. Diplomas are good, but what the diploma signifies. And so we're going to go from Dean Lawson's blueprint to the Ramasastry toolbox. A lifelong toolbox that you acquired during your time with us. And what's inside it? You each have the tools that the school has bestowed on each of you. The values of compassion, commitment to equity and justice, and lifelong service and ethical leadership. But depending on your own passions, you've customized that toolbox with tools relating to how you want to change the world. It might be intellectual property or tech law, or advocacy and policy reform to fight racism and discrimination. It might be tools to protect people through immigration laws, or the planet through environmental laws. It might be the tax code, yes, even the tax code, or knowledge of comparative law. But what you should pack in that toolbox are those memories, your memories of your classmates, mock trial competitions, clinical peers, those faculty, librarians, and staff who mentored you and believed in you. Those memories are what will get you ready for the challenges thrown at you and what connect you to UW and to our collective wisdom. Now, to my contract students, right, you are going to always remember happy Snickers, right? So happy Snickers for the contract students. And for my LLM and MJ students, you're going to remember the donut, right? So just put those in your toolbox. Which brings me to what's most exciting, the next part of your story, and that's Act 3, or Season 3 of your adventure. And Act 3, believe it or not, is a brilliant future. Now, I want you all to imagine where you're going to be 10 years from now. You can close your eyes, or you can just think about it. Where is that going to be? Where will you be? While you might have a picture in your mind, you already know that the world is ever-changing. At the same time, you know you're strong, creative, and determined. You can adapt, achieve, problem-solve, and lead. You can do it. So remind yourself, even when people seem divided by politics or ideology, that we all want our planet and its people to prosper and thrive. As lawyers and advocates, we have to be part of the change. Imagine not only where you will be in the next decade, but how your work will help us all get to that next decade. We need to, right? We might not all be here. As Dean Lawson says, what you do matters. So have a purpose and strive for that purposeful life. Now, for my students in the Sustainable International Development Program, your commitment to protecting people and the planet is what gets me up and motivated every morning. Now, this past year, I'm almost done, I've had the privilege of meeting former students from across the globe, both JD and graduate students, so just often by random chance. I met a former King County prosecutor now based in Vienna, helping combat human trafficking globally. I met an Albanian lawyer helping to reform the judicial system in her country. I met a JD graduate who works with Starbucks and leads their sustainability and civil rights practice. I ran into a leading employment lawyer from Chicago. He and I met at a major labor summit at the United Nations in Geneva. Another lawyer from Ukraine is documenting war crimes arising from the Russian war. The common thread, all of them are UW Law graduates. These alumni could not have predicted where they would end up. Their law toolbox helped them to thrive and to find strong purpose in their life. So often when I speak to alumni, they connect their time at UW Law as having ignited a spark that led them to their current path, even if they couldn't see it when sitting there today. So I remember them all as they were, like you today, here, graduating, about to begin Act 3. I and my colleagues can't wait to see where your work and life will take you next. For us as a faculty and staff, it is such a privilege to be part of your story. Please carry UW Law, this is where I break into tears. Please carry UW Law with you wherever you go. I'm eagerly awaiting your Season 3. So please join me in congratulating this remarkable group, and thank you to the community of friends and family who have supported these graduates. Class of 2023, if you can withstand a pandemic, you are ready for what new challenges the world will throw at us. And as you scatter and travel, please don't leave that UW Law toolbox behind. Thank you. It is now my great privilege to introduce the JD student speaker, Ayla Kara, who is not only one of my former contract students, but was one of the Husky 100 for 2023.
Thank you all. Thank you, Professor Masastri, for that introduction, and also for making me actually like contracts, which was the biggest plot twist of my 1L year. Family, friends, faculty, and most importantly, class of 2023. We made it, y'all. To say that many of us thought this day would never come is an understatement. I don't know if everyone here knows this, but law school doesn't have the best reputation. It is known to be a challenging, isolating, sometimes soul-crushing experience under normal circumstances. But the class of 2023 faced a daunting additional hurdle. We started our legal education from within the walls of our bedrooms. The spontaneity and the camaraderie that comes from in-person interactions were replaced by pixels on a screen. The stress of uncertainty, the fear of illness, and the loss of loved ones took a real toll on our collective psyche. And as we struggled to read through 19th century text, the world around us seemed to crumble. We witnessed a violent insurrection at our nation's capital, as many of us had to go to property law. We watched as our institutions continued to devalue Black lives and as children were placed in cages. And we watched as our nation's highest court overturned decades of reproductive rights and as book bans and attacks on critical race theory became widespread. Now, I say all this to simply acknowledge that our legal education was characterized by profound grief. And all the meanwhile, law school only added to the stress by pushing us to our very limits and exacerbating our deepest insecurities. I remember hitting one of my lowest points only 2 weeks into law school, mentally and emotionally. I remember calling a friend in tears saying, "I think I made a huge mistake. I don't think I belong here. I didn't feel smart enough, capable enough, or lawyerly enough." So many of us have had moments where we questioned our own ability and fitness to be in spaces where people with our identities and our lived experiences had rarely before occupied. Like the communities we come from, we were commended for our resilience when what we needed was deep systemic change. We read cases that dehumanized and subjugated people like us under the guise of precedent, and we wondered whether the law could truly allow us to achieve justice and liberation for the communities we so deeply love. My own personal decision to go to law school was shaped by one of those ugly moments in our history. Many of you know that I grew up in Syria, and I left home at 17 when violence erupted throughout the country. At the time, I didn't know what the work of a lawyer was, let alone any lawyers. I'm pretty sure I thought stare decisis was a really delicious Italian ice cream flavor. Now I know that it's not that delicious. But in 2017, I felt the impact of a law in a personal way. The Muslim ban had just been signed into law, barring people from 7 predominantly Muslim countries from entering the United States. And Syria was singled out as the one country where the ban would be indefinite. I remember this day vividly because it also happened to be my birthday. And that day, dozens of messages from friends and family lit up my phone screen, not in celebration, but in panic. My Muslim community was under attack, and the law was being weaponized against my community, and we witnessed the codification of white supremacy and, white supremacy and xenophobia in real time. The law is often described as this neutral, objective entity. But as people with lived experiences, we understand that the law is deeply personal. So many of us have been at the receiving end of supposedly neutral laws that in fact legitimized violence and harmed our communities. And yes, we were resilient. We've overcome tremendous odds by virtue of being here. But by continuing to glorify individual resilience, we risk normalizing and accepting the very injustices that necessitate resilience in the first place. And yet, 3 years, 9 quarters, and not 1 but 2 super spreader law proms later, we are here. And not only did we persevere, but we challenged the systemic conditions that plagued us. Now, I'm going to put a few of you on the spot because, well, I have to, and because it's also kind of fun to see you get flustered in your seats. Angel, where are you? Angel founded the First Generation Law Student Association, a space that has made a profound impact on our first-gen community and that is going to continue to do so for years to come. Meta co-wrote an amicus brief that was cited by our very own Washington Supreme Court and that highlighted Black students' experience with implicit racial bias and anti-Blackness. Under the leadership of Soledad, Maria, and Rania, Say Justice assisted hundreds of farm workers, unaccompanied children, and asylum seekers in their applications for immigration relief. And, through a little bit of good trouble, saved the immigration clinic. Donald made a really cute baby. He was also SBA president and an amazing leader and advocate in our community, but it was overshadowed by the really cute baby. The list goes on, but each and every one of you has done so much worth celebrating, whether or not you ever got credit for it. Class of 2023, you're here because you belong here. And the legal world is not ready for a staunch advocate like Jacqueline, a fierce litigator like Sagiv, or a zealous public defender like Chelsea. Now, graduating from law school is a significant accomplishment and one that should not be understated. But we are so much more than that. We are so much more than the degrees, the grades, and the job titles. We are storytellers, healers, and bridge builders. We are artists, activists, and advocates for change. We are products of the beautiful communities, our friends, families, mentors, and loved ones who have poured into us and nurtured us into the people that we are today. Our expertise comes not only from the law that we've learned, but from our own lived experiences as we navigated this world as objects of the law. Beneath our gowns, we're the embodiment of countless stories woven into the very fabric of our being. And we are the echoes of our ancestors, carrying their wisdom, hopes, and dreams within us. So much of the path ahead of us is unknown, but right now, you are here. Take this in. Don't let the magnitude and joy of this moment pass you by. Classmates, I'm going to ask you all to close your eyes. And as you do so, think back to the time you decided to apply to law school and what causes or people inspired you to do so. Think back to the nervousness you felt starting year 1 all year from within the walls of your bedroom with so much unknown, but a distinct sense of possibility. Think about a moment from the last 3 years where you felt truly proud of yourself. Now look around the space to the people who supported you throughout this journey. Your family, your friends, your professors, your loved ones, so many of whom are here with you today, and so many of whom are on our live stream. Please join me in showing them our gratitude. As we step into the world beyond Gates Hall, never forget the essence of who you are. A vessel of love, kindness, and the transformative power of lived experience. Congratulations, class of 2023, وألف مبروك. May we be as unprecedented as the times that we lived through. Please join me in welcoming our LLM speaker, Rafi Styonurani.
Thank you, Ayala, for your kind introductions. Good afternoon, everyone. Greetings to Dean Lawson, distinguished faculty, staff, alumni, and to the class of 2023, congratulations, we did it! I would also like to say thank you and congratulate to our proud parents, friends, and loved ones, as today, we gather here to celebrate our academic journey at the University of Washington School of Law commencements. It's been a long and challenging year, but we are finally here. We are about to begin a new chapter in our life, and it's a pleasure for me to speak to you as we consider our success, our obstacle to conquer, and our progress tremendous. I stand here today as a representative of graduate students from the program LLM, MJ, and PhD, and I'm originally come from Indonesia. For those who don't know where Indonesia is, it's the country where Bali is located. And I can bet you right now that you know more than Bali than the name of Indonesia is. But for me, this commencement holds special significance, as I see Seattle not only as a birthplace of legal education here, but also I always call Seattle as my second home. And speaking about home, since I'm the first generation in the family that pursuing study abroad, especially in the law background, and by the way, my family is currently here. Yeah. And first of all, I would like to say thank you for my husband. I'm forever thankful for the presence of his life. And thank you for always being there for me. And since my parents also here, and this is their first time flying to the United States, coming here, and they're just flying more than 8,000 miles away from Indonesia just to see me and come to see me graduate and speak in this podium today. Anyway, even though they don't speak English, I would like to let people here know that I want to say thank you for my beloved parents for bringing me into this world and raising me to become the person who I am now. And without both of you as the parents, I will not stand here and speak in front of fellow graduates. And I will say in my own language, Bahasa Indonesia, terima kasih Mama dan Papa. And speaking about law school itself, I still remember the first time I walked into my first class at the William H. Gates building. It was raining. And I was thinking, maybe it will be crisp and sunny day tomorrow. But yeah, my guess was wrong. Yeah, it is Seattle. I never expected that, honestly. But even after all that, I still love it. Well, maybe because the weather here always cool every day. And it's way different than in my country, where the sun always shines for the whole year, like summer every day. And the weather there is around 90 degrees back home, like every day. I also recall many times my memories in law school, after class, between our lunch break, waiting in long lines just to reheat our lunch meal, and enjoying spring with cherry blossom in the quad. And I guess many of you guys here happy to taking picture in front of cherry blossoms. And many, many late night studies in the library, in our Gallagher Law Library. During exam period, booking our private study room for sure. And that is just some of many privilege and experience that I enjoy as a student at the University of Washington School of Law. And today, as I stand here representing diverse cohort, representing different cultures, representing different backgrounds and legal perspective. And this diversity is our strength. It is what enables us to approach complex legal issues with richness of thought, fostering a more inclusive and comprehensive understanding of the law. And speaking about privilege again, as an international student, during my study at UW Law, I came to start a difference between the legal system in my country and here in the United States. But here, specifically in the UW Law, has not only deepened my knowledge about legal principle, but also strengthened my strong commitment in public service and ethical advocacy for both my personal and professional growth. And anyway, let us acknowledge and express our sincere gratitude to our esteemed faculty members. Their dedications, expertise, and unwavering support have been instrumental in shaping us into the legal professional as we are today. To our professors, thank you for triggering our enthusiasm for the law and also always inspiring us to reach the new heights. Thank you. And specifically for my fellow LLM and MJ graduates, I will extend my gratitude, but first of all, thank you for voting me and choosing me to become your representative today. Thank you for being more than just classmates, being friends, confidence, and a source of endless support. Our shared laughter, stories, challenges, and cultures have made this law school journey way more meaningful for me. And I'm so grateful for the connection we have built and the knowledge we have gained together. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you for being the part of this remarkable chapter in our lives. And here's the incredible friendship we have made and the bright future that awaits us. Cheers, dear my friends. And for my remarkable fellow JD and PhD graduates, I want to express my deepest gratitude for all of you. Your willingness to share your knowledge, engage in tough discussions, and offer guidance has been an invaluable gift for me that I will cherish forever in my heart. Thank you for being beacons of knowledge and inspiration. And honestly, I learned a lot and gained a lot of perspective about US law, especially from the fellow of JD graduates here. And I thank you for being more than just classmate and colleague. Once again, congratulations, class of 2023. We are the torchbearer of knowledge and hope, bound together by the shared experience and the memories we have created. May we all find success, fulfillment, and happiness in the next chapters of our life. Once again, thank you. Terima kasih dan sampai jumpa. Go Huskies!
We will now recognize candidates for the degrees offered by the University of Washington School of Law.
Good afternoon. I am Mike Townsend. I am the faculty director of the PhD in Law program. I am Associate Professor of Law, and I am the Secretary of the Faculty of the 3 campuses of the university. Dean Lawson, I am pleased to announce that there are 5 PhD recipients in the class of 2023. The Doctor of Philosophy degree is the highest degree awarded by an American university. As with all other universities, we offer special recognition in our program to the individuals who have successfully completed their doctoral degrees this academic year. That recognition includes a public recitation of the dissertation title, a public acknowledgement of the chairs of the PhD committees, and a public hooding ceremony. Dean Lawson, I would like to present to you our first recipient, Dr. Yiwen Wang. The dissertation is entitled Unfinished Business, Lessons from the Deadlock of the Environmental Goods Agreement. Chair of the PhD Committee, Professor Jane Wynn. Dean Lawson, I would like to present to you our next recipient, Dr. Jomana Talal Bima. The dissertation is entitled The Concept of Kafalat al-Yatim and its Application on Children with Unknown Parents in Saudi Arabia. Chair of the PhD Committee, Professor Lisa Kelly. Dean Lawson, I would like to present to you our third recipient, Dr. Ayaga Shaldibayeva, who is traveling, but as befits our modern world, either is or will soon be watching the podcast. Congratulations, Doctor. The dissertation is entitled Dispute Resolution Mechanisms under the Belt and Road Initiative, PhD Committee Chair, Professor Dongsheng Zhang. Dean Lawson, I would like to present to you our fourth recipient, Dr. Chianara Ekpera Chiameka Ike. Dissertation is entitled Hidden in Plain Sight, a critical analysis of sexual violence and armed conflict from the Boko Haram perspective. PhD Committee Chair, Professor Dana Ragrodsky. Dean Lawson, I would like to present to you our fifth recipient, Dr. Satang Nabana. Dissertation is entitled From Contemporary Semi-Competitive Authoritarian Regimes to Constitutional Democracies in Africa. Lessons from the Gambia, Uganda, and Zimbabwe. Chair of the Dissertation Committee, Professor Walter Walsh.
Good afternoon. My name is Anna Enter. I'm the Associate Dean of Students, and I have the great pleasure of reading some of the JD names today, along with my colleagues, Professor Jeff Feldman and Hugh Spitzer, Dean of Academic Administration. And now we present the JD candidates of the class of 2023. Bundan Singh. Ayla Kada. Madison Bumbarger. Taryn Michaela Harris. Roberta Ludd. Kimberly Shelley. Lauren Jake. Sam Perry. Joelle Klein. Kieran Francis Smith O'Neill. Caroline Humphreys. Catherine Kirk. Marissa Train. Emily Elder. Erica Marie Hammer. Hannah Shea Reed. Shiyun Lee. Emma Elise Vanderwist. Anna Rose Palmer Long. Gabrielle Apana. Laura Ames. Lily Parker. Meg Rivera. Jesse Edward Johnson. Bo Bronner. Erica Bykove. Benjamin David. Polly Mazzarino. Antonia Joy Gales.
Harrison Simons. Zachary Schrader. Congratulations. Luke Postma. Millie Hoyer. Will Van de Schuren. Congratulations, Will. Hannah Rose Garland. Hannah Rose Fitzmaurice. Philip Craig. Benjamin Desch. Tina Leo. Christopher Ming D. Marilich. Anna Lee. Tessa Wood. Annabelle Barnes. Congratulations. Bridget Brake. Congratulations. Ian Staley. Congratulations, Ian. Bennett Bockham. Congratulations, Bennett. Zachary Packer. Congratulations. Siem Adnan Ayub. Congratulations. Mitch Wallum. Congratulations, Mitch. Elizabeth Lee Clampett. Congratulations. Zoe Taylor. Congratulations, Zoe. Neela Bricado. Congratulations. Rania Obacioni. Ellen Nguyen. Congratulations. Sharon Singh. Congratulations, Sharon. Juliana De Filippis. Congratulations. Ryan Tersey. Hannah Redenbow. Congratulations, Hannah. Angel Torres Mann. Congratulations. Sagiv Galai.
Nathaniel Putman. Lyndall Burvar. Andrea Grande. Alina Wooldridge. Charity Yi Jia Chen. Anna Grace Walter. Tong Shu. Katie Chang. Deborah Wong. Sabrina Swen. Zeyu Song Neil. Betty Zhang. Rong Xiao. Rachel Codovy. Elizabeth Ina Finch. Jacob Walker. Chitska Decker. Yan Shu. James Lauerman. Joshua Wah. Charles Simon. Erin Leanne Sylvester. Sarah Brendan. Bailey Higgs. Catherine McCain Moyer. Annabelle Goodson. Elizabeth Knapp Kidd. Ramita Kondapudi. Rosalind DeLillo Knock. Kendall Fujioka. Megan Elise Goodwin Miller. Andrew Barnett. Sean Keyes. Calvin McFinsky. John Schmitz. Zachary Robbins. Mark Stepanyuk. Elijah Swedlow. Lori Frederick. Riley Grace Borden. Abigail Sedona Eve Diaz. Do a couple more.
Smitha Gundaya Javala. Janae Denise Camacho. Akanksha Bhatt. Charlie Kilgore. Jason Antarazian. Justin Cooper. Perry May Brown. Benjamin James Summers. Ryan Geetson. Sasha Dobrov. Rebecca Nicole Gates. Nathan Clark. Carmen Mand. Carl Rusted. Adam Brunmeyer. Alice Men. Brianne Matilla. Ashley Nicole Mixon. Vivian Ogwejafor. Gabriella Monique Jackson. Congratulations. Meta Danyachu Gurma. Alexis M. Carter. Stephanie Gordon Tercios. Sarah Kahn. Tatiana Baraza. Amy Marie Ocean. Samantha Carl. Austin Jeandon. Casey Lewis. Julia Layden. Rachel Stenberg. Grace Wan. Kat Ebert. Jacqueline Nguyen. Chelsea Camille Perilla Edano. Angela Chen. Ethan Silver. Chelsea Medwin. Congratulations. David Minetti. Madison Denise Kelly. Samantha Senten. Brianna Irani. Congratulations. Catherine Bentfield. Congratulations. Kate Bradley. Jesse Yu. Nathan Rosenblatt. Kayla Ann Barber. Congratulations. Congratulations. Oh. Might need your help. Kalai Ola'a Trask. Congratulations. Brianna Yoshiko Anella Summers. Congratulations. Laura C. Newton. Congratulations. Maria Sofia Gomez. Congratulations. Soledad Mendoza. Congratulations. Gabriela Navarro Santana. Congratulations. Santos Garcia Avalar. Simon Boromand. That is baby Ava Peters and Donald Robert Peters.
Dean Lawson, faculty, regents, honored guests. The UW School of Law also offers Masters of Law programs. We have 7 programs which will be introduced by several of my colleagues. The LLM is an advanced degree for both US and international legal professionals, many of whom have many years of experience already, and they come to us to continue pursuing passions. I am pleased, as the director of the Asian and Comparative LLM program and as the director of the General Law LLM program, I'm pleased, Dean Lawson, to introduce graduates of the Master of Law in the General LLM program. Come on down. Victoria Morales. Cassandra J. Alston. Global business. We have Rafi sneaking in because he was sitting with us. Rafi Stoyanorani. Arjun S. Kalsi. Liu Ze. Jingxi Zhao. Mingyu Zhu. I also have the pleasure, Dean Lawson, of introducing students in the Global Business Law LLM program. And first to go is Eduardo Cruel. Sultan Al-Shamari. Congratulations. Priyanka Bhatt. Shefali Kotari. Congratulations. Jiti Tiwari. Congratulations. Tripti Sinha. Tilahun Nagusi. Daria Simonova. Roman Michael Hill. Noi Bunperm. Ramida Baines. Isabella Corsino Mejashio. Dean Lawson. This concludes the graduates for the General Law LLM program and the Global Business LLM program.
Good afternoon. My name is Peter Nicholas, and I'm the Faculty Director of the Intellectual Property Law and Policy Program. Dean Lawson, I am pleased to present the graduates of the Master of Laws in Intellectual Property Law and Policy. Yasumasa Sasaki. David Raymond Lemieux. Maya Komiyama. Xiaotong Ku. Ji-hee Kim. Diana Salazar. Oscar David Mejia. The Intellectual Property Law and Policy Program is pleased to recognize a student graduating today with a concurrent Juris Doctorate and Master of Laws in Intellectual Property Law and Policy. When I call your name, please stand and be recognized. Perry May Brown. Dean Lawson, that concludes the candidates for the Master of Laws in Intellectual Property Law and Policy.
I'm back, but I'm here with my colleague, Professor Jennifer Lengo Long. I'm the faculty director, and she is the associate director of the Sustainable International Development Graduate Program. It is one that it needs a little explaining. It is an interdisciplinary graduate program focused on issues related to global environmental law, indigenous rights, human rights, access to justice. It's really about people who do want to use their legal degree to protect people and the planet. It is always I think a happy but heartbreaking moment because we send forth all of you, and it's also a time when we congratulate you and we say goodbye. So if I do start to cry, it is an emotional moment, but we're so pleased. So it is my pleasure, Dean Lawson, to present to you this year's candidates for the Masters of Law in Sustainable International Development. Tanisha Sudarshan. Bezabit Tesfaye. Arobia Khanam. Scovia Anguche. Somto Melody Kizur Akarawe. Rewe.
Chen Yen Go. Lechi Frara. Taylor Herring. Elias Ngogi Mwenda. Safia Njai. Anupinder Singh Randhawa. Congratulations. Eric Ori. Mank Orgil Tovanoj.
We're also pleased to recognize several students that are graduating today with concurrent Juris Doctorate and Masters of Law in Sustainable Development. Again, when we call your name, please stand to be recognized. We have 3 candidates this year: Lori Frederick, Hannah Rose Garland, and Joelle Catherine Klein. Thank you again, Dean Lawson.
I'm Shannon Weeks McCormack, Garvey Schubert and Baird Professor of Law, and proudly teach in the Graduate Tax Program. Dean Lawson, I am pleased to present the graduates of the Master of Laws in Taxation. William Plattner. Christine Spies. Lindy Lawrence. Lena Yue. Ina Saidorina. Firsha Irshit. Hassan Park. The taxation program is also pleased to recognize a student graduating today with a concurrent Juris Doctorate and Masters of Laws in Taxation. When I call your name, please stand and be recognized. Polly Mazzarino. Dean Lawson, that concludes our candidates for graduation.
I'm Patricia Kusler, and I direct our Health Law LLM program. Tonight we have 2 graduates and a half graduating from our program. Dean Lawson, I'm pleased to present our candidates. Julie Kiyama. Siobhan Gobert. I also direct our Masters of Jurisprudence program, which is designed to provide non-lawyers with knowledge of the importance of law and legal regulations and theory in our everyday lives. Not surprisingly, this program has grown very quickly because, as all of you know, law affects not just lawyers and their clients, but also every single one of us. So our Masters of Jurisprudence program, now our largest graduate program, has a number of very fascinating graduates who I welcome up at this particular point. Sarah Sullivan. Congratulations. Lucinda Jones. I got it, it's okay. Victoria Gonzalez. Candace Dungan. Raphael Williams. Tariq Youssef. Sumaya Ahmed Ali. Adrian Ann Elizabeth Rank. I know, Ijun Kim. Kiran Bandalakunta. Oh, you're welcome. Xiang Lu. Congratulations. Rao Jing. Rick Burkholz. Come around. Letitia Alacon. Mario Alberto Paredes Garcia. Anthony Rasavang. Wei Rong Shu. Thank you. Man Yu Wu. Wei Zhang Duan. Congratulations. Xin Ya Lu. See you, Hang. Jiao Lu. Congratulations. Han Lan Ran. Congratulations. Zi Wang. Peng Shang Chen. Zhu Zihao.
Thank you.
Qihong Li. Congratulations. Congratulations to all of our MJ graduates. I present them all to you. Dean Lawson.
And now, please join us in welcoming our distinguished speaker, Leonore Fuller, for our alumni address.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am the final speaker, so please hang in there. My name is Leonore Fuller, and I'm a proud graduate of the University of Washington School of Law, class of 1984. I am also a member of the Board of Regents of this university, the board that governs and stewards this incredible world-class university. Let's all give our university a big, big hand. So proud. Go Dogs, go Huskies. Go Dogs with a WG, right? So, class of 2023, congratulations on your graduation. Wow. I am truly in awe of how you have survived and thrived in your own personal ways during really almost every stage of the pandemic while in law school. I'm so happy to be here with you to celebrate this special milestone, not only with you, but with your loved ones and your law school community behind me, and to be the first to greet you after receiving your diplomas. Welcome to the wonderful world of the law. And it is wonderful. And thank you, Dean Lawson, for inviting me to speak today at your first UW School of Law graduation as Dean. Let me take a moment to just give a special shout out to some special people in the audience, two regents in the audience who are my wonderful mentors, Regent Constance Rice, big, big wave, and also Regent Blaine Tamaki, who is also a graduate of this law school. Thank you also to someone sitting with them who is not a regent, but is pretty regal in my life, my husband, Jay Fuller, who is also an attorney. In fact, my husband and I got our undergraduate diplomas right in this building almost exactly 45 years ago. So, whoa, and then we ended up practicing law together for 30 years. My history at the UW is perhaps best summarized by my purple Husky license plate, which says 3PL Dog, triple dog. It stands for the 3 degrees I earned at the UW and the 3 generations in my family who graduated from the UW School of Law. Thank you very much. Make no mistake about it, I bleed purple, all the way down to the cute purple shoes I'm wearing today. I've really enjoyed staying engaged with the law school all these years, and you know, I invite you to consider doing the same after you leave here. Class of 2023, you are beginning your legal careers in an ever-shifting post-pandemic landscape. Who knows which workplace model on-site, remote, or hybrid, will work best in the long term for different law practices. Artificial intelligence technologies are developing quickly, and the way they are changing the work and productivity of new and experienced attorneys cannot be ignored. Legal ethics rules are continuously being revised to adapt to the different scenarios posed by these developments. There is yet another changing scenario described in last month's Washington State Bar News in a special issue entitled Giving Back. The introductory article noted that finding time to give back to our communities has become more difficult since the onset of the pandemic, and that volunteer participation in our country has continued to decline. So today, I'd like to offer a rallying call to this graduating class, the class of the pandemic, if you will, to reset the post-pandemic future for volunteerism for lawyers. Why? Well, because the pandemic crisis has made us all evaluate more robustly what truly matters in life, and it has inspired us to include more things in our life that add purpose and value. In fact, there was a headline in a recent article posted on LinkedIn which said, and I quote, "Purpose is hotter than ever." Really did say that. What is a purpose-driven career? It is a career path that aligns with your values, your interests, and your strengths, and allows you to make a meaningful contribution to your world. I am most likely preaching to the choir, but consider this. A purpose-driven career is a way of life that can happen inside and outside of your work as an attorney. In other words, job satisfaction as an attorney can also be achieved when your attorney skills are applied outside of your profession in your volunteer activities. Many of you have already lived a life of service, and I truly applaud you, but the practice of law is demanding. Like one of the properties of gas, the more room you give it, the more it expands. You will get very busy very soon. So today, I'd like to invite you to be intentional about your community service sooner than later in your careers. You may ask yourselves, how can I possibly fit in volunteer work and still manage a busy law practice and have time for a healthy work-life balance? That's a fair question. One way to manage this is maybe to start small. There's an African proverb that says, if you think you're too small to make a difference, try sleeping with a mosquito. In my first year of practice, I started volunteering on a pretrial criminal diversion committee. That's a program that is an alternative pathway to prosecution. Back then, the committee met only once a month for 2, maybe 3 hours in the evening, and it required very little preparation outside of reading the police reports and the social workers' recommendations. This experience introduced me to the life-altering work of therapeutic criminal courts and the role of personal accountability and addiction and mental health services within the criminal justice system. Super important concepts that continue to challenge our lawmakers to this day. You'll be surprised at how much you can fit in your busy lives if the cause truly matters to you. It could be passion-based, it could be professional, it could be local, or even global. Someone asked me once to chair a public arts board. One of the board's projects involved public art related to the replacement of a well-used bridge in Olympia. At the time, I had a busy law practice in the area of personal injury and insurance law. I was also a busy working mom, very involved in my 2 boys' elementary school lives. So my response was, are you nuts? There's big science projects, my boys are doing football games, basketball games, and clients that need me. Well, the person asking wouldn't take no for an answer and knew that the arts is one of my passion projects. So I eventually agreed to do it. And you know what? This led to an extremely interesting year for me and locked in my ongoing appreciation for how the arts can shape a community's identity and civic pride, beliefs that greatly define the city I live in. In fact, if you go to Olympia, and I know some of you will be working there, not far from the state capitol building, you'll see a beautiful bridge over Bud Bay, the product of a unique collaboration between bridge engineers and an artist. It was a subject matter of that incredible community experience that I almost said no to. I think of that experience almost every time I drive on that bridge. This brings to mind something Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg once said, that in your legal career, you will get satisfaction out of doing something to give back to the community that you never get in any other way. For sure, there is joy in giving back, and it energizes you. Honestly, I experience this joy and energy time and time again in my community work. I am now in my almost 20th year as a volunteer on a higher education board, and I just love it. I value this subject area for many reasons. One reason is because higher education has changed my life in significant ways, and I am so moved when I see its transformative effect that is passed on to multiple generations and families. Saw a lot of babies here today. What you want to bet? They're going to get a higher education degree after walking across the stage. Here's to the future generation that hasn't even been identified, right? Still no name. So I'm Filipina, and from a culture that places a strong emphasis on education. Okay, so let's hear that. Any Filipinos in the crowd? Woo! Any wannabe Filipinos in the crowd? Yay! All my life, there are some. Oh, woohoo! Sorry, you need to look out for me once in a while. So, all my life, I heard my mom say to her 5 daughters, and mom sounded just like this: there is no such thing as being over-educated, but you never, ever want to be over-accessorized. Seriously, Mom? You may even find an exciting volunteer opportunity to shape public policy. Take the experience of a friend of mine who got talked into joining the local housing authority board many years ago. He thought it had a relevant connection with his real estate practice, and plus, back then, the housing authority was desperate for members. Now, of course, housing is the issue of the day, with this year's legislature passing laws that affect housing density all over the state and hundreds of millions of dollars allocated to housing and the unhoused population. Suddenly, as the chair of a local housing authority board, elected officials are calling my friend for insights on the local housing scene, an issue he had worked on long before it took center stage. Can you think of a societal issue that you would like to help advance and that perhaps hasn't quite gotten the attention it deserves? I'm sure you can. Nonprofit organizations are still desperate for volunteers. So how about getting in early, like my friend did, and help give their missions a push to center stage? Allow me to conclude my remarks with this thought. A legal education is truly a gift. I realize that this is counterintuitive after all the tuition that you have paid. Gosh, I wish I could channel a bit of Oprah and put a cool gift under each of your seats today. You truly all deserve it. Your legal education gives you a unique and wide range of talents that are truly valued in society. Skills such as strategic thinking, analytical communication and leadership skills, attention to detail, the confidence to ask difficult questions, contextual understanding of the legal and regulatory landscape, and ethical decision-making. You will appreciate this gift the more you interact with your communities. As lawyers, you will certainly have the knowledge and ability to advocate for the needs and rights of your clients, but guess what? These are also the same skills you can use as you serve your communities. And you will be sought after by your communities, lawyers, because of our unique background and experience, are valued volunteers. So, class of 2023, go out there and make a difference in your world. You are exceptionally skilled to do so. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Regent Fuller, and thank you for agreeing to be part of my first graduation here at UW Law School. And I want to thank all the regents that supported us today at the graduation, and one more distinguished member of that row sitting there, Dean Mom. Thank you for being here with us. I want to thank all the faculty and staff that put this wonderful event together. Without them, we would not be here. And I am so grateful for all the families, including all the babies I got to shake hands with today. This is truly a celebration for our entire community. With that, I'm here to close our ceremonies. Congratulations, class of 2023. I ask the family and friends to stay seated. I ask the family and friends to stay seated until the platform and the graduates have left the auditorium. Thank you again, and let's celebrate. I guess we're going